Hello students. In the last lecture we discussed about the qualities of the population of a country or an area. To continue with that topic, the next feature which affects the population of any area is the occupational structure of the population. By occupational structure we mean that the population of a country is engaged in which economic sector. We divide the economy into major three sectors: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. In the primary sector, we include the basic activities which deal with the use of natural resources. For example, agriculture, fishery, animal husbandry, forestry, mining, all these activities which deal with the direct consumption of natural resources are included in primary sector. The second is secondary sector. This sector involves the processing of the products of agricultural sector or producing new things with the help of technology, with the help of human efforts. We manufacture things in secondary sector. For example, we establish industries, small scale, large scale industries, construction works, or the processing of the products of primary sector like converting wheat into flour will be termed in secondary sector. That is, we are processing the products of primary sector and converting them with value addition into a better product. And then finally we have the tertiary sector. The tertiary sector does not produce anything. It provides help to both the primary and secondary sector by giving services. Now, to produce anything in the economy, just the production of the good is not the final step. After the production, we require transportation services, we require promotional services, we require advertisement, we require packaging services. All these areas of services which help in both the primary and secondary sector are termed as tertiary sector. It includes services like banking, communication, insurance, transportation, defense, public administration, all these areas which help in the development of primary and secondary sector. Now, the very important question that rises up here is the involvement of population in these economic sectors. If we place our population into these economic sectors, we'll find that most of our population is engaged in primary sector, and a very less amount of population is involved in secondary and tertiary sector. But on the contrary, the output that the population involvement in these sector gives is contradictory. The large amount of population which is engaged in primary sector provides us with very less output or involvement in GDP, whereas the few number of population involved in tertiary and secondary sector provide us with the maximum amount of the GDP proportion. So, why is this difference? To start with, in the primary sector, the time limit is comparatively very large, plus it is a sector where risk is involved. Whether we are dependent on agriculture or fishing or mining or animal husbandry or any other primary sector field, we find that these areas being dependent on nature, it makes them very unpredictable. Let's take the example of agriculture. In agricultural area, we find that the process of sowing, growing the crop until harvesting, the duration is very long. It requires a lot of labor work, plus the final result that we will get at the time of harvesting cannot be predicted. It is prone to many natural calamities. It can be infested by any pest. It can uh, get dried because of lack of irrigational facility or dependence on monsoon or lack of taking care. A lot of uncertainties are involved in these area, as a result of which the final product is unpredictable. So now what to do with this type of population distribution in economic sectors? There is a need to change the present occupational structure in India. So too much dependence on agriculture has to be avoided now, and the pressure on the agriculture has to be reduced. Now, another question that rises up here is how can we reduce the pressure on the land or on agriculture when the population is continuously increasing? This can be done by using modern facilities, modern technologies, and getting output from the same amount of land, and with better technology, we'll find that we can produce a lot more, and we can take out that extra population which was engaged in agriculture. We can train them, we can skill them, and then engage them into secondary and tertiary activities. A very important problem that our primary sector faces is another very significant problem that our primary sector faces is disguised unemployment or hidden unemployment. Usually, more than required people are involved or engaged in agricultural activities, which does not increase in the product, but it reduces the availability of human resources. If only two people are required for doing agricultural activities and there five people are engaged in it, so the extra three people can be removed from them, from that area, and can be engaged into other activities which will add into the income of the country. But these things do not happen in our country. If there are 5 or 10 or any number of members are present in the family, they will all be engaged in the same household activities, household land which they carry, and they usually do not attempt into moving out of their areas and doing something extra for earning. We can reduce disguised unemployment by providing them vocational training. Giving them skills will help them work in factories, industries, and earn an extra income for their family. So, what is required here is that the occupational structure of the country needs to be balanced, because we are not able to inculcate all the human resource available in the country in a fruitful manner. Another very important quality of the population that needs to be taken care of is the health facilities. When we talk about health, the image that comes to our mind is of a very healthy person. Healthy here does not mean an obese person. Health here means that the person should be physically fit. If we place this into the data available in our country, we'll find that the per capita calorie consumption in our country is much below than the recommended levels, and malnutrition affects a large percentage of our population. The basic health facilities are not available to most portion of the population. Availability of clean and safe drinking water, sanitation facilities, basic hospital facilities, all these facilities are lacking in our country, which affects the type of human resource available in our country. We can take an example from any of our friends that we meet in our class or in our coaching institute. We find that if a person is intelligent or acquires has brain, but he is very weak health wise, then the quality that the person possesses is decreased somehow. Because if you have any kind of skill, you have intelligence, but you are weak by body, then you will never be able to provide your 100% to your studies or to the work that you are involved in. So, the population, yes, it is good to have a large number of people working in our country, working for the progress of the country, but at the same time, the health of that population needs to be taken care of as well. And these can be done only when we have good health facilities available, we have proper facility of sanitation and drinking water, proper care is given to the young population and the old population. It is only then that we find that the population can be beneficial for the growth of our country. While analyzing the population structure of any country, the most important section of the population is the youth or the adolescent population, which shows the quality of the population. Now, when we take this section of the population, we find that if the children at a young age provided with good educational facilities, good health facilities, proper guidelines, then they become responsible citizens of the country and add into the growth of the country. And on the contrary, if this age group, that is the age group of 10 to 19 years, is not given or not paid any heed on, then they can be detrimental to the growth of the country. So, what can we do to help this adolescent population of our country? For this, our government has started many programs and plannings. For example, the family planning program was started in the year 1952. It was to promote responsible and planned parenthood on a voluntary basis. According to the National Population Policy of the year 2000, the government provides free education to the children till the age of 14 and also vaccination to achieve universal immunization of children against all vaccine preventable diseases, encouragement of delaying of marriage of girls, and also providing welfare programs involving the society and promoting the participation of the people. In this National Population Policy of 2000, another very significant factor that was paid heed on was that the population of this age group requires special attention apart from the above mentioned areas as well. As in this age, we find that with the changes going on physically and mentally, the children most of the time get very confused or distracted and they are not in complete sanity to make their decisions in their favor. And in this condition of confusion, they usually fall to the wrong side and commit mistakes, which result into the destruction of their future in the form of unwanted diseases, pregnancies, and these problems needs to be taken care of. They have to be made aware that with proper guidelines they can make the future a brighter one. So for this, programs were launched by the government to make or educate these children about the risks of unprotected sex, the use of contraception, and the education about marriage and childbearing. Nutritional services are provided to them, food supplements are provided to them, so that these children can be given an opportunity to find a better way and to participate in the growth of the country. So, the population, like we've been studying throughout this chapter, can be a benefit as well as a disadvantage for the country depending upon how the population is choosing its way in the development of the country.